Hello, history enthusiasts!
Today we will be explaining the three most important parts of the Hispanic Christian kingdoms.
My name is Nuria and I will explain you the emergence of the Christian kingdoms.
I'm Menru and I will be explaining Corona de Aragón.
And I am Alex and I will talk to you about the Transhumans and the Mesta.
So, let's get into it. So, let's get into the emergence of the Christian kingdom. So, firstly, we have to know who was Sancho III. Sancho III was a man that he mainly owned 4 different territories in 4 different places. So, when he died, now imagine that I am Sancho III. Today, we are on the year 1035, and I feel really bad. I am going to die, but what do you think that is going to happen to all my territories? So, my 4 territories in which I am the king of Aragon, Castilla, Ribagorza and Navarra are going to be inherited by my 4 kids. And then he thought, if I am going to die, I should give all my territories to my sons. So, as a result of this, these territories were given to Gonzalo, García Sánchez, Ramiro and Fernando. So, Aragon will be part of Ramiro, then the new king of Navarra will be García Sánchez. Later on, we will have Ribagorza and Sobrarbe, that will be the king Gonzalo, and last but not least, Castilla, that is going to be the king Fernando. As time passed, Ramiro's son, that it was Sancho Ramirez, reunited the kingdom of Aragon and Navarra. And then Sancho Ramirez thought, as my dad is going to die, I will inherit Aragon. So I should reunite also Navarra and I should talk to my halcon, that is the brother of my father, García Sánchez, and he could give me Navarra. And this, my friends, is what happened at that time. Sancho, the son of Ramiro, had all the power of Navarra, Aragon, so Aragon and the Catalan countries became totally united.
Mary!
Later on, Ramón Berenguer married Petronila and they together formed the Corona of Aragon, which was composed by Aragon, Catalan counties, Navarra, and Valencia and Mallorca. And now I will be leaving you with Menru.
Hello everyone! Now that Nuria has explained how Corona de Aragon was formed, I'm going to explain what it was. Okay, so what was the Corona de Aragon? It was basically a dynastic union formed by these territories, which were Aragon, Valencia, Catalan counties, and Mallorca. And they were divided into 2 parliaments, which were Justicia and Generalitat. And Aragon formed part of Justicia, and the Generalitat was made up by Valencia and the Catalan counties. But a very important thing is that each of these regions had its own distinct laws and traditions. Oh, and we cannot forget about these 3 important people, which were conquerors. First of all, we have in the 12th century Alfonso I el Batallador, which conquered the Ebro Valley. Then we have in the 13th century Jaime el Conquistador, or better known as Jaume I. And he took Valencia, Alicante, Murcia, and the Islas Baleares. And finally, in the 13th century, we have Pedro el Grande, who conquered Sicily, Sardinia, and Naples with the help of his successors. Now let's explore their economies. First of all, Aragon was centered around livestock farming and agriculture, as we can see here. And meanwhile, Catalonia became known for its amazing textile industry, ironwork, and shipbuilding. And as a result, Barcelona became a great trading center. But what happened? That Barcelona was attacked by an economic crisis. So Valencia became the next important trading center, overcoming the economic crisis of Barcelona. But here is the intriguing part, the consulates of the sea. As we know, the Corona de Aragon maintained international trade links with international countries. So merchants from Catalonia, Valencia, and Mallorca established these consulates of the sea in other countries. And what were these? Well, these basically were offices which established by merchants to resolve trade disputes and promote fair practices. And this is all. So, what can we learn from all of this? In conclusion, Corona de Aragon was more than just a collection of kingdoms. It was a dynamic force that shaped the Mediterranean history through conquest and commerce. And now, it's the turn for Alex.
After having talked about the emergence of the Hispanic Christian kingdoms and the Corona de Aragon, now we are going to know through another section which we have never talked about. Now, let's dive into transhumance and Mesta, the agricultural sections for this topic. Now, I am going to narrate you the story of transhumance, and it will be divided in 3 topics. First, we are going to talk about the haste that happened on the Castilian villages. Secondly, we are going to talk about the solutions of what the Castilian farmers did and how to avoid the Muslim raiders. And last but not least important, we will talk a little bit about where were the expedition areas where the farmers escaped to be safe. Okay, so around 800 years ago, the Christian kingdom shared most of its frontier with Muslim territories. And the Muslim raiders who lived at the other side of the frontiers wanted to cross in and attack the Christian villages and destroying their crops and stealing their resources. Muslim raiders were very smart and did this by several methods. For example, they acted like if they were merchants, they contributed with indigenous tribes that live near the frontier, or even make alliances with the warriors that were living on that zone. When these attacks began to happen more often and Muslims began to get more control, agriculturists and shepherds, the one who took care of the sheep, decided to take measures about what happened. So they used a technique called transhumance, that was a movement that could allow the sheep to be moved to a safer place. These places were usually protected places that were fortified, and there were warriors and civil warriors that were inhabiting the zone, so they are protected. Also, they escaped to mountainous places, where there were abundant resources in the soil and trees and bushes, like, for example, Sierra Morena, Sierra Nevada, or Sierra de Grazalema. And here we can see the places that I mentioned before, which are, in the first part, Sierra Nevada, following Sierra Morena, and not common but still shepherds went here very frequently, Sierra de Grazalema. Now I'm going to tell you another story that talks about the Mesta, and we are going to divide it in 4 parts. Firstly, we will begin with the origins. After that, we will go through the privileges that the Mesta had. As a first point, we will see the security that it gives and the job creation it had. And lastly, we will see the downside that the Mesta had during its long run. Okay, so first we're going to begin with how was the Mesta created. Okay, so in that time, that was around the 13th century, the late 13th century, farmers and sheep ranchers had disputes, disagreements, and constant arguments. So, as they were fed up of the situations, all those sheep ranchers joined an association called the Mesta, which was granted by many fueros by the monarch. In case you didn't know this, fuero is like a prize or reward that you get for doing something. And believe it or not, each September, all those shepherds that form part of the Mesta could go to certain areas of pastures where the sheep could graze. And here you can see the privileges. These were the kind of areas where the farmers went in September and the sheep could graze. What's more, belonging to the Mesta also gave you security in case there was a theft in your property, and it could also exclude you from paying taxes to the government. What's more, belonging to the Mesta also gave you security in case of a theft in your property and could also exclude you from paying taxes. This contributed a lot to Castilian aristocracy. As well, there were many job creations and businesses, such as the sale of clothes and the sale of wool, and this made a lot of artisanal activity. However, the Mesta had its downside during the long run. Many privileges began to be granted, and as a consequence, there were more frequent fights. And that is how the Mesta in the 19th century was finally extinguished.
And
Until here.
This is all.
Thanks for watching.
And see you on the next video.
Bye bye.